Watch 9 crazy TikTok videos progressives hope you'll never see. In recent years, a new phenomenon has emerged. Progressives now share their woke thoughts and rants on TikTok, in hopes of inspiring long-lasting change or something. We combed through tons of crazy TikTok videos to bring you 9 of the craziest ones we could find. Sit back, relax, and be prepared to be amazed just like we were. The left takes us back centuries and segregates us based on our skin color.
Hi, fellow white people. Black History Month is tomorrow. Let's not do anything to ruin it this year. Okay, my fellow milk crickets? We're gonna be good this year. Yes, we are. And if we are, maybe you'll get a prize. But you have to be good. You can't ruin Black History Month this year. Okay? Thank you, my babies. Bye.
Does she not know she's white, or is she a superior type of white person? Then again, we have others telling white people that happiness is somehow oppressing black people and preventing them from also finding joy and happiness.
This might be a controversial take, but I'm seeing a lot of queer white people posting shit like posting themselves being really happy and doing some random shit and being like, yeah, our joy is resistance. And like, in my opinion, white people's joy is not resistance. Like, queer or not, your joy is not resistance. Matter of fact, your joy is what got us here in the first place. Like, your joy is why we're having to resist. And like, y'all putting yourselves and finding yourselves and like your own joy in front of everybody else is what got us here. Like, literally, I'm seeing so many white people right now going on like organizer retreats and posting about their joy and how awesome it was. Honestly, I want to see more of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people so they can do that shit.
If you're white, you're supposed to sit at home and be miserable because you were born into a skin color. And if you're a black woman, you magically deserve the world handed to you simply for being on planet Earth.
I believe that every black woman on this planet should be entitled to financial compensation just for existence on this earth and this society. And though I could go down my laundry list of reasons and likely convince you to and show you why I believe that, I'm not going to. You'll understand when you do. Toodles!
Her reasons are so great she can't even list them. So typical. And who could forget the more than 2 parents conundrum?
Every single day I become a bigger advocate for raising children in groups of 3 or more because, like, I get there are lots of people who are very happily single parenting or raising their children as twosomes. That's great for you. But for those of you thinking about doing something different, I just want you to know, like, it is possible to do so because there is no representation of us, right? There's no Bluey episode about the kid with 3 parents. But we're out here just doing our thing. And in our case, a single parent by choice teamed up with an existing couple. We decided to make a kid together and raising that kid as a group. You could be in a romantic couple. You could be 3 best friends. You could have more adults involved if you want to, so long as you're all committed to this child rearing thing. And certainly it takes some extra negotiating, right? The more people you have, the more opinions you have. And we had to have some hard talks about things like who was going to be genetically related to our child and who wasn't. That was tricky, but also it was kind of just a moment in time in comparison to the 18+ year commitment that is raising a human being and putting them out into the world. Because, oh my gosh, raising kids is so much work. And it kind of reminds me of the early days of like union organizing where people were fighting for an 8-hour workday so that they could have 8 hours of rest and then 8 hours of daily life. Like, that's what we need as a parenting group. So right now my husband is at work making a paycheck. My co-parent is at the daycare center with their kid, and I'm about to have a nice cup of coffee and go work on my novel. And that is what works for us. And we're still so tired at the end of the day that sometimes we're like, gosh, do we need a 4th person involved here? So just, if you're thinking about it, if this is something you want to learn more about, like, we are here, we are doing this thing, and it can work beautifully. That's all I just want you to know.
No one is talking about someone having 3 parents because it's not very common. And yet progressives wonder why their kids have mental health issues? Sadly, these parents are also sending their kids to woke schools that reaffirm their insane beliefs.
More parts of my middle school classroom. Right next to my ratchet blue cabinet, we have my flags. And then right across the wall from there, we have my other flag. Probably my most popular flag is my Progress Pride flag. I get a lot of comments on this because it's always in the background of my videos. We love some Progress Pride flag because my girl, Miss Miller's Musings, who is also on TikTok, her and I are the sponsors for our GSA, which stands for Gay Straight Alliance. We call it PRISM here at our school. We have to show our Pride babies some love, so we love this flag.
These teachers show more love to the gay pride flag than they do the American flag, you know, the one generations of Americans fought and died to protect. Some schools have dedicated days set aside for indoctrinating kids into becoming little progressive robots.
It's my favorite day of the school year. Every year, right around MLK Day, either the Friday before or the Friday after, my high school hosts an entire day of learning and service. So just to be clear, we give them MLK Day off, then we have another day where instead of classes, we have like a whole day of learning. Let me show you. First, donuts, obviously, but here you can see the entire schedule. This is an entire school day, right? This isn't just like a 1 hour assembly. This is from 9 to 3. We start off with our entire school hearing some opening words from our fearless leader, Akina, our head of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and of course, Louise, our social and emotional wellness coordinator, who talks about how to have uncomfortable conversations and learn about difficult topics. I didn't get any videos from the morning session because I was leading one of them, the biggest one, no big deal. But basically, kids get to choose. They kind of rank their choices from what the teachers are offering. This year, you can see we had a lot of things. We had a banned book activity where they're specifically looking at children's books and reading them and why have they been banned. I talked about banned history and conversations around like the teaching of U.S. history. There's a lot of stuff in there, right, that you can see. But after, we have those small group sessions, we brainstorm questions for our panelists, and then we come back. Then we hear from a panel of amazing community leaders and activists and educators. Pause if you want to see the list of people that we got this year. It was incredible. And it's always amazing to me to see the students that want to stick around at the end and have one-on-one conversations. So wonderful. Then after lunch, obviously, we're giving them breaks, right? After lunch, we break out into our afternoon activities, and we normally try to make these, whereas the morning is focused on learning and educating ourselves, we want the afternoon to be about action. So that might be creating protest music, right? Some of our music kids like go in and they learn about different protest music. Sometimes they write their own. That might be learning about protest literature. That might be making activist posters. That might be going out into the community. So one of our groups just went and they visited like Black-owned businesses. They went and had lunch at this amazing Ethiopian restaurant in Austin and then visited our Black-owned bookstore. I took students on the Black Austin walking tour. It was incredible. Everyone say hi. History. Anyway, it's just an amazing day. It's one of my favorite days of the school year, and it's something that I think our school does really well and I'm really proud of. And so I wanted to share with more people. If you're curious, this day is planned and organized by DEC, our Diversity and Equity Council, which is a student-run organization, but it's under the leadership of Akina, our amazing diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinator. And so I highly recommend that you take this to your school and see, like, I don't know, next year for MLK Day, are you just gonna have the day off? I love having the day off. But like, what else are you doing to honor his memory?
What does the Alphabet Soup Committee have to do with MLK? Absolutely nothing. But they'll do whatever they can to advance their agenda and use our kids as pawns, so it shouldn't come as a surprise when they seek out doctors for gender-affirming care for their young children.
I'm a doctor, and apparently the state of Texas needs to reconsider what it considers child abuse. Because you know what's abusive? Ignoring the needs of your child when your child is telling you what they need. And engaging in behavior as a parent that could lead them to unalive themselves. Over 80% of trans youth have admitted to having thoughts about unaliving themselves, and over 50% have actually attempted it. And these individuals, denying them care that we know is life-saving is child abuse. And it is proven that providing them gender-affirming care strongly reduces those risks. Don't worry, I got plenty of receipts for these comments. You can check my link tree. I will die on this hill. Trans rights are human rights. And it doesn't matter the age of the person. We all deserve to live our truth.
It kinda does matter the age of the person, especially when they're a minor under their parents' supervision. But some liberal parents don't care how young their kids are. They will start them on puberty blockers before they even hit puberty.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
You are in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones, in 2 years.
Around 13. That's what I think. Yes, you're not going to develop breast buds on the blockers, but you're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Josie received the blockers as an implant in her arm.
It's okay if you cry.
So with all the bravery she could muster,
you're going to feel a little bit of a...
Josie held on tight as another chapter opened in this young girl's life.
A lot of times it strikes me that had this happened just 20 years ago,
Thank you.
I wouldn't have been able to give her blockers, and she would have had to go through male puberty. That terrifies me.
It's all done. Do you want a hug?
I don't know that she would have survived male puberty.
And what happens when progressives push this woke nonsense on kids? This.
I think that I would like validation for my gender identity. There are some pictures of me. My pronouns are it and they. My gender is none. I enjoy dressing in a more feminine, I guess, way. But I don't want to be associated with gender. I enjoy looking like a clown. I kind of view myself as a doll. I don't abide by gender. I'm fucking built different.
Wake up, America. Progressives are brainwashing the next generation and they're hoping none of us will notice or fight back. Are you taking a stand?